I'm Edwin Warfield, the publisher of CityBiz, and I'm honored today to interview Jeff Coyle, who is the founder and CEO of Libretto. Welcome, Jeff.
Oh, well, thank you, Edwin. It's nice to be here today.
So, what is Libretto, and what are the solutions that you're providing for the financial services professionals?
We like to think of Libretto as the next generation of planning and investment advice. And we actually initially built Libretto to streamline advice for the most affluent families. And so what we really want to do is we want to help advisors make all of their clients feel like they're worth 100 million. And really our mission is to bring these more advanced methods to households of all wealth levels. And so at a high level, what Libretto does, it's a software that unifies liability-driven planning, asset allocation, and comprehensive risk management into what we call financial structure management. And so we enable advisors to move beyond risk questionnaires, generic model portfolios, and Monte Carlos. And what we do is we provide advanced technology, professional development, and white-labeled materials to elevate client solutions and also the differentiated value of advisors.
So, Monte Carlo analysis is widely used across the financial advisory industry, simulating possible outcomes for uncertain events and via probabilities of success. But you believe it often falls short in terms of providing value to clients. Is there an alternative to Monte Carlo analysis and a better way to provide more personalized service to clients?
Yeah, there is. And, the simple answer is really we want to replace simulation with personalization. And, Monte Carlos are actually very suitable in what you would call as a game of risk, where the outcomes are predictable. So think of a flip of a coin or a roll of a die. You can take a die and put it in your hand, and if you roll it enough times, you pretty know what's going to happen. A 2 is going to show up on average every 6 rolls. And the key thing about that is it's a predictable game. And, a casino is a good example of somebody who would use a Monte Carlo in an effective way. All a casino really needs to do is just have enough people play the game and don't take an outsized bet, and they pretty much know they're going to be profitable. Now, and the second thing about a Monte Carlo is it narrowly defines risk as portfolio volatility. But when you think about our lives, risk is actually multifaceted and extends far beyond portfolio volatility. And so, what are the elements that actually drive financial success in most households? Well, what if you were to have a temporary or permanent loss of income? Your home was damaged or destroyed in a catastrophe. Your business or your property was disrupted. You had a health event, or maybe you were subjected to a personal liability claim. Or maybe you lived through an economic downturn and market decline, or maybe you overspend because you're unaware of what your resources can actually support. So when you think about our lives, very little is predictable. And we actually live in a world of uncertainty, not risk. And so when we build solutions, we don't need a simulation of portfolio volatility. What we need personalized risk management. So what Libretto does, it enables advisors to apply personalized hedges, protecting essential needs, protective reserves that buy us time really, in case we lose a job or our business or property is disrupted, insurance applications, and other solutions. The other thing about this is we also need to be able to iterate our solutions over the life cycle. Our resources and needs naturally evolve over time, and the types of solutions also need to evolve over the different stages of our life. So what we've done is we've actually developed software that unifies a liability-driven planning, personalized portfolio development, and comprehensive risk management process. And it enables advisors to manage a comprehensive financial structure. So it's very different.
So, how can you explain how the advisors are implementing your new framework for lifestyle planning and investing and moving beyond sort of the usual risk tolerance ecosystem?
Oh, sure. The first of which is is advisors are actually able to manage total wealth strategies. So when they actually build a solution, they're actually going to incorporate their clients' homes and their mortgages, their human capital. Human capital, that's the present value of your future earnings. And for most wealth building families, it absolutely dominates their wealth, and yet they're completely unaware of it. And when you become aware of it, it changes the way you think about solutions. We also want to fold in Social Security. And what's interesting about Social Security is for a typical retiring couple, the present value of their Social Security, it's worth somewhere between $1.25 million and $2 million. And what's also interesting about Social Security is it's really an illiquid, long-term, inflation-protected bond, perfectly matched to the way they spend money. So what we want to make sure is we fold that Social Security into the bond structure so we don't unintentionally overallocate to fixed income, which, by the way, is the norm. As we start to work with more complex clients, we fold in their operating businesses, their properties, their private assets. At every level of wealth, we want to incorporate future estate inflows they're expecting from the generation above, insurance payoffs, or other resources. So what's happening here is, you think about a portfolio, it's not a standalone, let's say 60-40 portfolio, the result of a risk questionnaire. It actually behaves more like a completion portfolio. It recognizes those other resources and then fills in the voids to create a comprehensive solution. So what we're doing here is we're enabling advisors to move beyond risk questionnaires, generic models, and Monte Carlos, and actually apply a more advanced liabilities planning and portfolio framework. And the nice thing about this is this process is entirely interactive and empowering. Advisors are having these interactive, empowering conversations with their clients, and they help them to articulate the purpose of their wealth. And as they do that, they're identifying how much of their wealth they would like to dedicate to their personal lifestyle, their family, and how they might want to affect society in some positive way. And as they do that, their solutions are completely personalized to their needs. Their portfolios are personalized within the context of their full financial structure. Their risk management is tailored, and they're applying hedges and reserves and insurance. And the entire wealth management process is actually streamlined so that advisors can incorporate the contributions of insurance, estate, tax, and other professional disciplines. And the last part of this, as I mentioned, the experience for a client, it's interactive and empowering. And this is actually where advisors create the confidence and trust that really is the foundation for a strong relationship. Clients also understand the sufficiency of their total wealth probably for the first time, and they can identify whether they have enough or not. And then lastly is the client strategy naturally adapts over their life cycle as their needs and resources evolve. So ultimately, when you think about it, what creates confidence for clients is, can they answer kind of key questions? Are we okay? Are we protected? Could we endure down stressful events? Is everything covered? And so, what our objective is to scale this process for everyone. And we want to make it easy for advisors to deliver sophisticated advice to their largest and smallest clients using the same processes.
And so why is it so important in today's competitive landscape for advisors to provide this more robust, personalized advice?
Well, it's funny. Our industry is currently focused on organic growth. It's the kind of the buzzword these days. But, I would actually argue it doesn't really exist. It's actually not organic growth that we should be focused on. It should be market share. And the only way to win market share is just to be better. And so we want to help advisors deliver more compelling and differentiated solutions. And when you think about that, when you're managing someone's total wealth, that's differentiating. Most people are unaware of the value of their human capital, their social security, their estate inflows, other future resources. And when they're engaged in this kind of process, they know that you know everything and you're incorporating everything. Client seed is more rigorous and comprehensive. And it becomes obvious to them that you should be managing their full financial structure. And because of that, advisors pick up wallet share. And then, of course, the delivering is very compelling, and it basically enables clients to work with clients at any level of wealth. And we actually have the resources to help people support that. The other thing about this, as I'm highlighting this is actually a wealth allocation process. It's not goals. And so in that interactive and empowering process, clients will likely understand their total wealth for the first time. And by the way, it's usually a lot more than they think. And that's great news, by the way. The next part of this is they're able to allocate their wealth and right size, their personal lifestyle while balancing their family and their social objectives. And as they do that, the liability matching process, as they articulate their and allocate their wealth, they watch their portfolio being developed, their risk management applications being identified, and their wealth services personalized to their priorities. And this is where you're creating an empowering process that develops confidence and trust. As I mentioned, I'll back into this here. Portfolios are personalized. We're not assigning a model portfolio based on a risk questionnaire as an example. We're using an advanced liabilities matching process, and we're creating personalized allocations for each priority, each account, each entity, and the entire household. And it's all flexible because advisors can actually fulfill strategies using their preferred investments.
So how can advisors gain ultra-high net worth clients and build a service offering for wealthy clients?
It's all about preparation. And that's my background is in the ultra affluent space, and Libretto has a unique area of expertise in this world. And the first thing I would say is for an advisor is make sure you clarify what your delivery model is. So are you going to try and be a family office, a multifamily office, or maybe a virtual family office? And a virtual family office structure can be very effective for most firms because it requires limited changes in their current business, so they can immediately get busy doing it. The second thing they need systems. They need advanced systems that are capable of addressing high levels of complexity. And by the way, even simple clients are complex. And then lastly is they would want to elevate the professional expertise of their team. And we have extensive professional development programs in our learning center that basically helps advisors elevate their expertise. Helping them think about what kind of a framework would they use to manage ultra affluent families. How would they engage a family in family mission and legacy planning? How would they build multi-generational portfolios and structures, among other topics? And then the last thing is just to say, have compelling materials. We have extensive white labeled communication resources. And the reason for that is they're intended to help advisors to be immediately effective communicating ideas with their clients. And then lastly is support. We don't give them technology and walk away. We actually support firms to help them grow these competencies and be effective. We're always a resource in their business.
So is there any part of the Jeff Coyle story or the Libretto story that you haven't shared with us that you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, I guess. My background is managing the wealth of the most affluent families. I built 3 ultra affluent firms during my career, and I've built 3 systems to manage complex wealth. In the last system I built, a large private bank acquired it from me, and I spent a couple of years there as their deputy CIO as we institutionalized that across their firm, and it was a wonderful experience. And where Libretto came from is, in a sense, I kind of retired, I guess. And then I had to build some tools to manage, my own family's wealth. And I couldn't use the old tools I used, and I started building these new tools, and I figured out something that had eluded me for 2 decades. And it was compelling enough to feel like we should do this again. The second thing that I realized is the same methods that are applicable in the ultra affluent space are far more valuable to people of normal wealth. And the reason is they can't afford to make mistakes. And so really, our mission is really to bring these methods and deliveries to people of all levels of wealth. And so, so Libretto is something we're passionate about. We launched it, I don't know, 2 years plus ago, I guess. We've had a lot of success. It's going very well. And we're really enjoying the process of it.
Well, Jeff, thank you for sharing your recent venture with Libretto. I'd love to do another interview at some point to really talk about your heritage at my CFO, the other RIAs, and Northern Trusts. But keep us apprised of your developments and as you move forward, and hopefully we'll touch base again. Thanks.
Well, I've really enjoyed it. Thank you for inviting me.